in the same breath, dozens of top executives and government officials have been charged, lifestyle audits have been ordered, and even lie detector tests suggested in recent weeks. As Kenya launches a new crusade against corruption, there are few topics as discussed in the country as the endemic graft rotting every sector of society, with reams of newspaper columns, hashtags, political speeches and presidential promises devoted to the topic. And the latest scandal to engulf the country, dozens of top executives at national power giant, that is KPLC, as well as contractors, have been charged this month with squandering public money. Waluke is in Kakamega County seeking the sentiments of a legislature there on the fight against grafted, whether Kenya is finally on the right track. Lusige, good morning.
Good morning, Yusuf, and from the story that has just aired a few minutes ago, we'll all agree that Sirisia Member of Parliament John Waluke is the latest politician to be arraigned in court in terms of matter of corruption. We saw him being arraigned in court yesterday at Kilimani Law Court's Anti-Corruption Court, where he was charged with several fraud cases, one of them being in which his company Erad Supplies was involved. Where it supplied more than 40,000 bags of maize. So as already you have noted, Yusuf, there are so many cases currently going, which is most of them are involving top officials and other executive members, and this has been seen as a way in which the Anti-Corruption Commission has tried to fight many cases of graft. But some of the locals, even here in Western Region, while we were speaking to them in the morning and we were asking them, do they think that the government is really fighting now corruption? They said they have seen a little bit of action, but they're not really sure if the government will crack the whip in all members of the government who have been involved in graft cases. But today in the morning, we just want to have a little bit of a conversation with the National Assembly Chief Whip Benjamin Washiali, and also he's one of the major palm oil farmers here in Western Region. Mheshimiwa, we'll just start from the comment that I've made. Do you think the government now is in the right track in fight against graft?
Yeah, I take this opportunity to thank His Excellency the President Uhuru Kenyatta to have begun this. And you can see now all departments, all agencies are up and they're moving. You can see what has happened, especially the case that you have actually cited of Honorable Waluke. It's just among many other cases that are being brought out that maybe if it were not for His Excellency, maybe they may not have come up. You would also realize even in Parliament, the kind of reports that you are now seeing, both from the Senate and from the National Assembly, they are earmarking people who have been corrupt and whose names will not have come up should it this environment of fighting corruption, should it have not come up, maybe they will not have been included. You remember even yesterday, even though this report of the crisis in the sugar sector did not come, was not debated, but you can see, and I'm sure you've covered very well, KTN, you covered very well, the names of probable those who were implicated. Names like the CSS, whom it would not have been easy for a parliamentary committee to come up with. Therefore, I think the government is doing its best, and I think it's upon us to assist. But whether or whether not, if the government is fighting corruption, I told you, and I want to repeat, that indeed the atmosphere now towards corruption is different. It's different from what used to be sometime before.
Mheshimiwa Washiali, let me just ask you one question. Some of the cases that we have witnessed now being in court, some of them are backdated to 2007. Waluke's case is 2004. Maybe what has taken so long for these actions to be taken?
That's why I'm telling you that now there is a mood swing. It has now changed, and the war now is to fight corruption. And us as leaders, we want, if we really need to wash this pot clean, we need to start from the bottom. And we have Funding issues like the TJRC's reports that were done those days. Let us try and unearth all this so that everybody who was involved even in the corruption those days, just like they have backdated those cases of Waluke of 2004, we need to go back and unearth everything so that we have a clean pot. Yeah, and we actually want this for the benefit of this country and for benefit of Kenyans. Like in our case, local case here, we have had cases. Mumias was a factory that was working very well, and then someone just comes here, steals money. The investigations were done, the reports were made, and nobody is moving. In fact, the other day I was asking our ESCC director, my friend Halake, why is he not also moving towards this direction? Because people here are now suffering. They are not suffering because they have failed to do what they needed to do to try and meet their livelihood expenses. It's just that someone decided to come and steal here. Therefore, corruption kills. And I think the faster we reined in these people who are corrupt, the better for Kenyans.
When Ojamong, the governor of Busia, was arrested, he said that only small fish were being chased in terms of the fight against corruption. Will we see even others, those ones who have been involved in big cases, billions of money have already been lost? Will we see them also being arraigned in court?
I don't know what it means by my friend Ojamong saying that small fish. Okay, the amount Ojamong may have been involved in may have been small, but Ojamong is not small. It's not a small fish. Ojamong is a big fish, and I just want to assume, because I have never known him as a corrupt man. I'm just hoping that he's clean, and he'll rather clear himself, because us and we are not ready. And His Excellency the President mentioned it. He put it that even himself is ready to go for lifestyle audit. The only other request that I would want to make, and now that I have this platform, is that the Attorney General, and I hope he is listening to me, he needs to propose some laws that would help the agencies to rein in these people, because as we speak now, we don't have any law on lifestyle audit, and without law it becomes very difficult, it becomes lengthy, it makes even the agencies, should it be a ESCC or a DCI, it makes it very difficult for them to move in and rein into these corrupt fellas. So we need to get the necessary laws so that we can pass them through Parliament.
Thank you so much. That is Benjamin Washiali, the Chief Whip of National Assembly. We're just having a few minutes of a couple of discussion in regard to the issue of the fight against graft. We have seen the government taking action. We have seen top politicians, top government officials being arraigned in court to answer different charges in regard to graft and even fraud. So Yusuf, I don't have anything to add. I just hand over back to you at the studio.
Thank you very much, Lusige, for that. That was our reporter, William Lusige, coming to from Kakamega. And of course, we're going to take you live to Parliament buildings shortly, where we're getting reports that the joint parliamentary group on sugar chair, that is Kanini Kega, is about to address the media. Also